are possibly living alone. So in this time, this is a big change for HR, where we have the empowerment to change the culture entirely, to be more people sensitive, be more, I would say, intrusive in a nice way, to help our people come out of this pandemic with their mental stability intact. So we've gone the extra mile and made sure they have counselors and psychiatrists where required, so that they have the support that they need, even if it's external, to come out of this pandemic. The future, I think, would be for HR to be the drivers of empathy. I think bringing a culture in all of our people to be empathetic, trust people, and also learn to remotely manage our people while understanding productivity tools and skill sets.
So now suddenly you realize that the communities that you had in or around the warehouses or your workplaces, they're not very open to receiving people who are coming in now, right? Because they also have that fear of the unknown, right? So do you withdraw those benefits? Certainly not. Then how do you start, or how do you continue to provide those benefits? So one is obviously you can choose your own route and say, okay, let us start building out hospitals. And Gati probably has been doing that for a long, long time, which is a good example for all of us to look forward to. But the second aspect that this gives rise to is that how do you engage deeper with those communities now? I mean, you always used to liaise with them, the Gram Panchayat, the village sevak, or whosoever was there. But how do you engage with them on a constant basis so that they stand by you when you need them?
From the employee's point of view, of course, everything else is given, correct? SOP, orientation, no one goes onto the field unless they are inducted for about 1 hour every day, anybody who's coming in first time after lockdown. So that has been the kind of, regiment. So I think my HR folks are out there in the field, so they're also going to the offices. So that is one thing. We also started, as you know, contactless delivery. So this is the first of its kind. We moved first on that. Initially, the banks were reluctant. They were not aware as to how do we get the PODs, correct? But we insisted on that. I said it's not only my employee safety, but it is also the customer safety. And now this has become a kind of BAU that every single delivery is kind of contactless.
From a people perspective, like I mentioned, flexibility is going to be very important from where you work, how you work, what hours you work, right? So this whole gig workforce that we've really been talking about in digital setup and all, it's going to hit us, and we've also started experimenting with it a lot more. And hence your flexibility has to go up. You cannot, a very male dominated, in our case, when you look at European organizations, also at the top, we were very white, male dominated organization a few years back, to now embracing a lot more diversity than was before, but diversity of all kinds, not just, gender. I'm saying all kinds of diverse workforce. Flexible gig workforce is what we are looking at.
Yes, we'll talk about some fundamental changes we have done, the way we have been doing business across 3 different levels. One is our management team. The second one is the middle management team. The third one is the frontline staff, including the frontline managers. So for the management team, this was a time for us to introspect and take final decisions on the things. Let's say we finally pulled plug in some of the North making products, which we have been contemplating for quite some time. This time we actually took a call decisively and said, let's go ahead and close that. The middle level, management level, the theme was that let go of the feeling of, excessive control, the desire to control each and every aspect of your team. That's something we really pushed, and that encompasses all the work from home karna hai, nahi karna hai, allow karna hai, nahi karna hai, kaun aayega, kaun jayega. Rather than focusing on the levers, we really forced them to start thinking on the output metric. For the frontline staff, it is, the theme was that, why don't you run the business? Why don't you take call on the local level? As I said, that 300 odd locations across the country, every state has a different rules. things are changing on daily basis. Can somebody sitting in HO or zone give you some sort of a guideline that you have to abide by? Or will give you some broad parameters, to operate and give you full empowerment so that you can take a call. That, brought the sense of belongingness, sense of empowerment, sense of, to do something for the company. And this really changed the behavior.
One very successful initiative that we have launched, which we call it as the Move India campaign, right? So primarily focused on three things, Suvidha, Suraksha, and Samriddhi. To simplify it, it's primarily a load board, which would enable commissionless transactions both on the shipper side and the trucker side, which we have been able to launch in a very, very quick fashion. And, there are close to about 500,000 trips that we have already done on that platform.